Welcome here at PropCoach. Yes, welcome with today, listing presentations. You want to have the best listing presentation ever so that you can get more exclusive listings, you can get the best price for the listing and great accessibility and build this amazing relationship with the seller. So let's just get started. But before that, have you subscribed to this channel already? If you did, thank you very much. But please tell all the other people that haven't subscribed yet that they just have to press the red button here, and from there also hit the notification button that says ting, so every week you see when we have another video coming up, and that will keep you educated and helping you to grow in your real estate business. So let's just get started with listing presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the best listing presentations ever, starting now. So great that we can talk about this topic today, right? Listing presentations. So listing presentations, if you're not familiar with it yet, it's very simple. It's you having a meeting with a seller, an owner, a landlord, asking them if they would give the listing to you to list it, start marketing it, and helping the seller or the landlord to sell or rent out their unit, their home, their property, right? That is very important. And for that, you need to do a listing presentation, right? That is, you have to go to the property, you meet this owner, and you basically give them a presentation about yourself, why you should be the candidate, the chosen one, to basically help them sell or rent out their unit. And for that, we call that a listing presentation, right? And this listing presentation is more important than you think. It's not simply you going to a property and say, hey, hello, I'm an agent, and then the seller says, well, okay, welcome agent, welcome here. Can I list a home for you? Sure, why not? Doesn't work that way. You have to make a good impression. You have to go there and really show to the seller that you're a professional, that you're the real deal, that you are somebody that is an expert and somebody that really can put the effort in helping them to sell or rent out their house. So at the end, I want to give you 6 points, very important points, and I want you to write them down because they're super relevant for you to get your listing presentation right. Let's quickly start with the first one. Hey, this might seem very obvious what I'm about to say, but it's not so obvious when I look outside there. In the practicality of things, I don't see many agents do that, but you have to come prepared. You need to prepare your listing presentation. And what does that basically mean? 3 things. 1, you need to study the market, understand the market, know your numbers, know your comps, as they said, right? Know the competition, right? And what I would definitely advise is for many agents to make what I like to call a CMA report, right? CMA, right? A comparative market analysis. You study the market, and we have made many videos about this, study the market and understanding of what is the competition doing, right? What is the house or the property in the same street doing or in the same area doing that is similar to this property? Has it been sold? What has been the latest transaction in the market? Or how many listings in the same area are in the market? And what is the future competition in this same market? All of these things, very important for you to know, so you know your numbers and you know how heavy the competition is. Second thing is, don't come empty-handed. Make sure that you bring some slides, you bring an iPad, a laptop, so you can show them some visuals, because a presentation is always much better if you have some visuals to show to the seller so that they know what you're talking about. It empowers a little bit your speech, and on top of that, when people see graphics, they see numbers, then it makes them believe more that you have done your homework and that you really studied the data, help them make decisions faster. Okay, second thing that's very important, right? You've prepared very well, you have now the CMA report, you have visuals, so you have something to prepare, and in these visuals, let's make things clear, right? These are information about your company, you include your success stories, right? Pictures of you winning awards. You really need to start building some credibility here, right? Doesn't mean that you have to show off, but you definitely have to build some credibility so that you're the real deal and people can trust you. And that is all about the second part, is that you need to go into this presentation with a lot of confidence. Right? What I see is that a lot of agents don't go into this presentation very confident. They are too much dependent on how the seller is basically going to treat them. Right? And you might find a very dominant seller, or you might find a very analytical seller, right? Somebody that is very compliant and does everything on analysis and data. At the end of the day, sometimes it can be quite an awkward situation, right? You're meeting a stranger and you're selling one of the most expensive things that they have within their life, right? Their property is their biggest asset. It's very expensive, right? And they meet you maybe for the first or the second time. And you're there to tell them, hey, listen, I'm gonna sell the home for you. Hey, this requires some confidence, right? You need to step in there showing them, hey, listen, I'm an agent, but I'm not just any agent. I am the best agent, right? And that's important that you show that, you dress well, you look professional, you know what you're doing, you give a good handshake, you speak well, you speak nicely, you speak confidently, and all of that has a huge influence on how people perceive you and how they build rapport with you, and how they eventually make a decision in hiring you to become this listing agent. So go in there with a lot of confidence. Now you have done a good preparation, you go there with a lot of confidence. Let's go to the next point, because this is very important. A lot of things that I don't see agents do when they do listings presentations, they're very focused on how nice is your house, how much is going to be the price, but what you also should explain in a listing presentation is the overall sales process, right? The process is important. Many people out there don't really know how you sell a home. And there are some different processes, right? You need to explain them. Hey, I'm first going to take some pictures, but we have to make sure that the house is nice, the house is clean. We take pictures. From the pictures, I'll take the pictures and make sure that we create a very good marketing message. Then I'll put it on the portal. We will throw in some ads. We will do some flyers. We will be looking at the market. If you get any leads in, then we will be doing viewings. We'll be doing multiple viewings. And then eventually we hope we will get an offer. We have to do some negotiations. From negotiation, we have to do the paperwork. We need to sign the documents, we need to get the earnest deposit, then we will get to the lawyers, and all the timelines in between, you need to set the expectations with the seller. What is of course very important, because sometimes sellers just think, hey, here's my listing, and tomorrow they call you and they ask you, hey, why haven't you sold my home yet? Well, it's because you didn't explain it correctly with the sales process. So you always need to have these clarity checks with your sellers to clarify to them, this is what's going to happen in the next 3 weeks, in the next 6 weeks, in the next 3 months, and potentially in the next 6 months if we price it maybe too high. Remember, pricing is a very important thing, but eventually you need to explain to them the expectations over a certain period of time and how the sales process comes in, and that needs to be explained during the listing presentation. Okay, you're doing a good job already. What is the next step that you need to know about a good listing presentation? Let me just write it down, tips to seller. You as an agent must know what helps to sell a house. I mean, you're the specialist, right? I mean, the seller's just there that says, here's my house, go out and sell it. But eventually, there might be some changes, some things that you need to adjust in order to make this property just a little bit better to sell the house. Can be something inside, can be something that needs to be fixed, a leak, or something that needs to be upgraded, or something that needs to be changed. Maybe it's something in the garden, right? Something in the garden needs to be changed. Can be anything, but always give good tips to the seller that help them to improve the house, that can help them to sell the house, of course, and also maybe even potentially can slightly increase the value. Sometimes a simple paint job in a wall, inside, outside, could do many things. And because of that, the first impression when you bring potential buyers into a house can really make a big difference. So don't be afraid in a listing presentation to give your feedback. You don't tell your sellers, hey, listen, Mr. Seller, your house is so super ugly, I don't know how I'm gonna sell this. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, hey, Mr. Seller, I saw that you have this beautiful wall there in the hallway, and it seems like it's, didn't have a paint job for a while. My advice to you, what is no obligation, but my advice for you would be that we give it a little paint job, because this is a very significant area. When people come and walk inside, they will see this hall the first time, and if we don't give a first good impression, that would immediately maybe be an issue when buyers come in. So would you potentially consider, painting this wall so we make a good first impression? And you would see that a lot of sellers would appreciate that. They would like to have those tips so they know in how you are already helping them, giving them value in upgrading their home and helping them to potentially sell their home. So don't be afraid to give those tips and add that to your listing presentation. We're coming to a very important point right now that is all about, of course, pricing. right? You will get to a point in your listing presentation that you will start discussing about the pricing structure, the pricing strategy. How are we going to price this house? And of course, what many agents do, what I feel is a big mistake, is that you would let the seller decide on what you're going to sell the house. So let's just get this out of the way, right? How I would advise you to start talking about pricing is very, very simple. This is why your CMA report is so important. Because this is what many agents would do, what I think is wrong. They will go to a seller and say, what do you think the property is worth, or for how much would you like to sell the property? Okay, maybe in a seller's market, this would be a good way to start. However, if it's in a buyer's market, or the market is not that strong, there's a lot of inventory out there, what I would do is simply take your CMA report and tell your seller something like this. Okay, Mr. Seller, your house is beautiful. I definitely think that we can sell the house. Of course, pricing is very important. Now, I did some research beforehand, look at this, based on the CMA, on the past transactions, on the current properties that are for sale, and for the competition that is coming in the future. My advice would be to put the property on the market anywhere between the 440,000 to 455,000. Then I think we would have a very big chance on getting a good offer. You see, you call the price right now based on your research and your expectations, and then you're going to look in how the seller is going to react, right? Because you have to look if he has similar expectations, or maybe he doesn't have the similar expectation, he has to price way higher there, but because you mentioned the price based on data, research, and on competition, now the seller has a better idea where his house is standing. If he comes back to you and says, oh no, I had 525,000 in mind, then you can say, well, I fully understand and I would love to sell your house for 525,000. But you say, listen, I understand that you want to price as high as possible, but my job is to set the right expectation, telling you what is happening in the market right now. And if you really want to have a fair chance in selling this house in the next 6 weeks to 12 weeks, I would advise you to price it in a range that the market seems fit at this market condition. So that is very important where pricing strategy comes in. You include the CMA report, prove it with data, don't just tell them, show it to them, and then you have a fair shot that the seller will believe you and understand your strategy and would adjust their thinking to your thinking and have a good pricing strategy. Okay, the final one that you want to include is, of course, your marketing action plan. How are you going to sell this property? Very simple. You want to tell the seller, this is what we're going to do in week 1, this is what we're going to do in week 2, this is what we're going to do in week 3, and this is in week 4. And if in the first 4 weeks we don't have any offers, we don't have any viewers, we don't have anything, we might have to do a price adjustment so that we can continue our marketing in week 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and for however long you want to do this. You know, sellers always think that agents just list properties, they take the property and just they smash it on a portal and they don't do anything. A marketing action plan really shows to your clients the dedicated work that you do to help them try to sell this house. And that's very important to show it to them, because then they really see what the money is all about, what the commission is all about, and gives you also the opportunity to make sure that they don't discount your commission. Because that seems to always be a problem also in our market, where a lot of agents get discounted on their commission, right? 3% has to be 2%, sometimes 2% becomes 1%. Never ever discount your commission, because at the end of the day, you're putting a lot of work, effort, and resources in there, and you're also taking a risk, to be frank, putting your money up front in making sure that you can help them sell this house, but you never have guarantees. So of course, at the end of the day, you want to have a good reward for the risk you take, for the effort you take, and for the resources that you're using. So always show them what kind of marketing you're going to do, what kind of effort you're going to do, and that would really show the value to sellers, and for that reason, they will accept the full commission that you're going to offer to them. Okay guys, that's all for today. I really hope that you're going to implement all 6 of them. If you want to have more information about this, we have a lot of more videos about this. You can check one of these other videos that we're displaying here for you right now, and I hope you will watch them in the future, or maybe right now, just click on them and watch the next video. Stay focused on your learning, because the more you learn, the more you earn. Thank you so much for watching this time here at PropCoach, and I see you again next time. Bye-bye.